B. Banureka. She is just working as associate professor in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore. She did her UG degree in the discipline of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering from GCT, Coimbatore. And for her master's, she did her ME in Medical Electronics from College of Engineering, Guindy, where she happened to be the gold medalist. And as far as the PhD is concerned, she completed at Anna University, Chennai in sleep studies. Currently, she is the secretary of the IEEE EMBS MADRAS section. She's having a work experience of about 14 years as academician and researcher. And her area of interests include health informatics, artificial intelligence, medical product development. And she has published about 25 papers in reputed journals. And she is a recipient of funding from agencies such as DST, UGC, and Technomatter. With this very brief introduction, I hand over the session to you, ma'am. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. I thank the management of PSNA College of Engineering and Technology and the HOD of Biomedical Engineering and the organizing team for giving me this opportunity. I'm very happy to be a part of this Sttp. So this Sttp is titled Biosensors, Medical Imaging and Signal Processing Techniques for Diagnosis. So I think it's a very broad title which can cover almost all the entities in diagnosis, treatment and prognostics, also for the betterment of healthcare. So I'm Banureka, so my introduction has been given to you. Yeah. Sir, how many participants are there now?
One second, ma'am. Just hold on, ma'am. Right now, 18 of them are there, ma'am.
Okay.
People will join shortly, ma'am.
Will join. Okay, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. I take pride in saying that I'm from the family of PSG, and another pride is I'm one of the volunteers of IEEE EMBS MADRAS section. So I'm currently serving as a secretary. Previously, I was the treasurer there, and there are many benefits in being a part of a professional society such as IEEE or any other professional society. So I thought I can know about the participants, whether they are affiliated with any association. So just a minute. I have a small poll which we can go through. Just give me a minute. I will open that poll. Yeah. Participants, can you see the screen? There is a question on the screen getting displayed. Are you a member of any professional association? To answer this question, you have to go to www.menti.com. So this website will work for laptops, tablets, or mobile phones also. So I request the participants to go to www.menti.com. It is getting displayed on the screen, and it will ask for a code 9473340. Please enter the code, and you can press any one of the options. So this is just to know the background of the participants. So you can be a student, you can be a faculty, but let me know whether you are a member of any professional association. Okay, I see one participant has responded, plan to be. Please go to menti.com. It will ask for a code. The code is displayed on the screen itself, 9473340. So you can participate in this live poll. We can see the answers as and when the participants are giving the responses. Okay, 2 responses so far. Yes, okay. Yes, 2 responses. Plan to be 3 responses. Yeah, I can see people also entering the waiting room and joining the meeting. Great. The S count is equal to plan to be no. So people who are joining now can go to menti.com. Please use the code that is displayed on the screen, 9473340. So this is just to get to know the audience. How many of you are currently enrolled as members of any professional association, or do you have any plans to be in the future? Okay, I see 23 participants, 26 responses have come so far. We ask the remaining participants also to enter your response. I hope there will not be any difficulty in doing this. You can simply go to www.menti.com. You can use the code that is given there. So this will be a sort of ice-breaking session. So instead of starting straight away with the slides and talking, we will get to know about the pulse of the audience. Okay, you see the response is increasing. Good. I'll be happy if I get at least 10 responses. 7 now. And yeah. Now we move on to the second question. Name the association you are a member of. So I think some 4 or 5 participants have given yes. So I can type the name of the association you are a member of and it will appear on the screen. IAENG. Okay. BMESI, great. Okay. 2 BMESI members. See, this is what we call infographics, right? Information is shown in the form of graphics. So when the word size becomes larger, it automatically shows more number of members in a particular association. Oh my God. BMESI got large. Good, good. Any other members who have joined recently, you can go to www.menti.com. If you are a member of any professional associations, even technical association or non-technical, you can just type in the name of the association so that we will know. So I've got 5 responses now. Oh, great. IEANG. IAENG. Are they both the same? IAENG and IEANG. May I know the full form of these two? IAENG. The members of IAENG, you can unmute and tell what this organization is. Maybe I'm not familiar of. Yeah, BMESI I'm familiar. IST is familiar. Participants, anyone? Can you unmute and tell what this is? What's the expansion of IAENG? You can put it in chat window also. International Association of Engineers. Great. Madam Smita Mohandas. Okay. Madam is a member of International Association of Engineers. Great, madam. Great to know. So thank you for your responses. Yeah. So that was an ice-breaking session to know about who we are. And because I represent a professional association, I was naturally interested in knowing about the members of other professional societies. So I'll give a brief introduction to the society that I'm representing. So I come from the IEEE MADRAS section family, especially the IEEE Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society. It is called EMBS. Now this IEEE membership basically, that's very famous. So what does it offer? One is it offers technical innovation, cutting edge information, networking opportunities, and exclusive member benefits. Some people say the IEEE membership is quite costly. Yes, when compared to some professional associations, it might be costly, but the cost can be equalized in various benefits. For example, let me say if there is a conference that is being conducted and it is an IEEE sponsored conference, then definitely there will be a saving of around, let me say, 1,000 to 1,500 rupees, even at the student membership level. So a student may be required to give around 1,000 to 1,500 rupees for a yearly membership to IEEE. There are certain ways in IEEE in which we can say we are from a developing country and then we can reduce the membership fee. So it need not be the same whether a student in Russia or Australia is paying, because we come under the category of a developing country, the membership fee gets reduced. So this membership fee you can easily equalize using these membership benefits. So that's what I say, exclusive member benefits. So there can be workshops, there can be conferences, there can be training sessions. So every of this IEEE sponsored events, there will be exclusive member benefits, and the member benefits will not be like hundreds or 200s. It may be like thousands or 2,000s also. So this EMBS is termed as the world's largest international society of biomedical engineers. So there are around 11,000 members. This may be still increasing, but recently we heard that due to this pandemic situation, the numbers came down a little bit, but it is sure to improve because people were not able to renew the membership kind of things. And it is the presence of EMBS is there in around 97 countries. So it's a win-win situation. Why do we say win-win? So this IEEE has a mission to advance the technology for humanity and the profession. And using this membership of IEEE, there can be a platform can be built to introduce the careers in technology students. So IEEE also profits from that. Students and members also profit from that. So just wanted to introduce the EMBS team at MADRAS section. See, MADRAS section comes under IEEE India Council. IEEE India Council is a national body under which there are many sections. One of the section is MADRAS section. Similarly, we have Bombay section, Kanpur section, Kolkata section, kind of. So this MADRAS section has a separate EMBS chapter. So the founder and the past chairman was Dr. Santanaraj Balakrishnan. The current chairman is Dr. K.B. Jayanti. Dr. B. Balasubramanian is the vice chairman. Myself, Banarika, I am the secretary of that from last year onwards. And Mr. Rajaram is the treasurer. So this is about the team that is managing the EMB for day-to-day activities. So what we do? I think PSNA is also having an EMBS student branch chapter. I'll be very happy to know if it is actively conducting activities. The student branch chapters, they come up with proposals for conducting activities, various activities. So depending upon the level of activities, this EMBS MADRAS section can fund the programs. So depending upon whether it is a full day event or a 2-day event, or if it is a conference, workshops, or whatever it is, there will be a certain amount of fund that will be available from EMBS MADRAS section. And EMBS MADRAS section also gains from it, because only when we have activities, we can report to the EMBS headquarters, and a motivational fund will be given by the EMBS. That is called a rebate money. So that money is being used for funding these kind of activities. So even if faculty members from other institutions who don't have student branch chapters, kind of IEEE or EMBS, you are most welcome. The conditions are to create an EMBS club. There are two types. One is an EMBS club, or it can be an EMBS student branch chapter. So the difference is, if it is a club, it needs only one EMBS member. At least one EMBS member should be there. And if it is a student branch chapter, there should be a minimum of 6 IEEE EMBS members, student members, and a faculty advisor. So these can form a team, and then they can apply for creating a student branch chapter. So it's very good, because in our institutions we will have associations, like we have a biomedical engineering association in our department. So that will consist of all the faculty, all the students. But this EMBS student branch chapter will be a specific team which will be working on it, and it will be a very good like-minded students who are interacting together. They can create technical activities for the students, and then they can reap the benefits of being IEEE members. And the activities which are carried out by the student branch chapters can come in newsletters, and these newsletters will motivate the students very much, like when they see their photographs and the events that they were organizing. So definitely they can put it in their resume also, saying that they have so much volunteer, because people who are in the HR team, they don't look at marks alone, they look at other activities that the students are doing. So when they know that they have been volunteers and involved in activities, especially, see, this is a activity which is both technical as well as human resource development. So they manage, as well as they manage towards a technical activity. So that's a best benefit that we can give to the students. So any college, any faculty who are interested in creating a student branch chapter, we are most welcome. We'll be open for any sort of assistance. So what is the advantage of EMBS? First one, I will tell you in my purview. First, we need to know what biomedical engineering is. There are many definitions that are given for what is a biomedical engineering, what is its scope. Now, this is very straight away summarized in this IEEE EMBS website. There are different technical committees, as you can see on the screen. In the purple color, there are committees like biomedical and health informatics, biomedical imaging and image processing, biomedical signal processing, cardiopulmonary systems, computational biology, wearable biomedical sensors, neuroengineering, therapeutic systems and technologies, biorobotics, bio-nanotechnology. So if someone asks what is the field of biomedical engineering, these committees will give us a good overview of where and all this concept of biomedical engineering can be applied. So students may greatly benefit. This website, to know about all these things, we need not be members. We can go to EMBS website itself and can see all this information. And they have journals also, very famous journals like Transactions on Neural Systems and Rehabilitation, IEEE Reviews in Biomedical Engineering, Journal of Electromagnetics, RF and Microwaves, Nanobioscience, Biomedical and Health Informatics, Medical Imaging, Biomedical Circuits and Systems, Biomedical Engineering Transactions, Translation Engineering. It's one of the recent emerging field, that is translation engineering, where you can talk about the computing aspects, the genomics aspect, big data and biology aspects. So all these kinds of things come under this translation engineering. And of course, this IEEE and EMBS members will have an edge over others when it comes to these kind of publications. So that was a very brief introduction to the EMBS activities and the motivation for joining EMBS. Good. So I will move on to the topic now. My topic has been given as health informatics and diagnosis of sleep disorder. So why I chose health informatics? Health informatics is one field which I was very interested from the days when I did my PG at Anna University. So that was a very fascinating subject, a field which is ever expanding. So, you know, whatever technology comes, that comes under the fold of health informatics. So that's how we slowly started with the artificial intelligence and then microcontroller based applications. Then you had this robotics applications. So many things, they slowly came under the purview of health informatics. And I'm very happy to share that recently we have published a chapter. The chapter itself is named Healthcare Informatics. The authors are myself and our HOD, Dr. R. Vidyapriya. So this book was titled as Computing Paradigms for Smart Healthcare under Nova Science Publishers, and was very recently published, like 1 month before we published the book, and it was a very good teamwork. So people have written various chapters on the computing paradigms for smart healthcare, and our chapter Healthcare Informatics was the first chapter, so which gave an introduction on what this healthcare informatics is. So I chose this topic itself because yeah, naturally it's very close to my heart. And sleep studies, of course, it is again naturally close to my heart because it was my bread and butter during my PhD research work. So this is one slide I'll be very happy to share, where all the principles of informatics is shown in a single slide. So this shows one health threat that has happened to a patient. You can see on the right hand side, you have the data, information, knowledge. Left hand side, you have the decisions, plans, and actions. So let's start with the data. How data is converted into actions using the principle of informatics. So the data that is being considered is, there is a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius for a particular patient. Now, what is the information that is gained from this data? So this 40 degrees Celsius is just a temperature, right? But when it is associated with a person, then we say the patient's temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. So we give an information to the data of 40 degrees Celsius. So what is the knowledge that we get from this? The patient has fever. So the temperature is above the normal. So the patient has fever. Okay, knowledge is got. What next? We have to take a decision whether clinical intervention is needed or not. So for example, if the patient's temperature has been 40 degrees Celsius for the past 24 hours, and then definitely there is a clinical intervention is needed, so that is considered as a decision that we have to act on the knowledge that is taken from the data. So what is the plan? The decision should have a plan. Some medication has been prescribed for the patient. That's the plan. Now, plan is fine. When will it be action? So the medication is given to the patient and the patient feels better. That is where the data finally concludes as action. And after that action, it will not stop. Again, the cycle will follow. After the action, again a temperature reading will be taken to see if that action actually gave fruit or not. Okay, so this is a cycle which shows how data is converted into various actions. So this can be applied in any field which is built on the basis of data. And medical field is one. We can never imagine a medical field without the data. As we all know that we say physicians are largely dependent on data that come out of equipments, data that come out of imaging procedures, data that come out of physical examination. Everything is considered as data, and finally this data will end up with the corresponding action. So that action has to again create data which says, okay, everything is all right. Now, what is the goal of healthcare technology? One is, or I will not say one, the primary goal of healthcare technology is to reduce the mortality rate, reduce healthcare cost, and reduce the medical complications. So when we see all these things, the approach is changing from a reactive approach to a proactive approach. So reactive means once we get some kind of, let's say in the previous slide there was a fever. So once we have fever and then we give medicines, then they feel better. That's a reactive approach. Proactive approach is I have data with me, prior data, then I predict, okay, this person's temperature is likely to rise in the next 1 or 2 hours. So then we may very well be prepared to handle the patient. So that kind of a condition is called a proactive approach. Right. So talking about the reducing the mortality, let us know what is the leading cause of mortality. For that, again, I will take you to a poll. Just a minute, because it will be very boring if I am doing the talking. So you can also participate. Yeah, people, you can see the question on the screen. According to you, which health condition is a leading cause of mortality? Go to www.menti.com. Use the code 2995071 shown on the screen. Just type whichever condition do you think will be the leading cause of mortality. It will appear on the screen. So let's see how you're guessing. This can be worldwide. We'll take worldwide itself. Worldwide, which type of health condition do you think is the leading cause of mortality? Mortality is death. So let me get responses from participants. Corona? Yes. I request all participants to take part in the poll. Only one response so far. People, don't take much time. Please make it fast. Okay, malaria, heart attack. Yes. Tumors. Okay. Go to menti.com. You can use the code that is displayed on the screen 2995071. Okay, which one came new? Diabetics. Good. Tumors, diabetics, heart attack, malaria, corona. Any other responses? Only 5 responses. Not even 10. Why? So I think you agree with whatever is shown on the screen. Some people may feel diabetics. Tuberculosis, great. Yeah, COVID again. Maybe another 2 people can try. It's only 7, 9 or 10 will be optimal. So I'll be also happy that people are participating. Any other condition that you think that is the leading cause of mortality? It may be across the world. Coronary heart disease. Great, great. Great. Yeah, thank you for the responses. Yeah, I will give it up to the people who are typed like heart attack and coronary heart disease. Actually, that is the leading cause of mortality, as we will see now. So I can see statistics that is compiled with the World Health Organization. It says what are the leading causes of death globally. So in 2000 there was one, and what is shown here is 2019, very recent. Last year they had compiled this document. So I can see the ischemic heart disease. So ischemic is where your tissues of the heart doesn't work properly. They are not oxygenated. So those comes kind of rigid, and then your heart pumping will not be proper. So that's called ischemic heart disease. And you can see the second leading cause of death is stroke. Yeah, of course. I think some of you might have heard about some of your family members having stroke. When I had cases of stroke in a couple of my family members, of course, the death was not immediate, but it took around 1 year or so because of the post conditions of the stroke. And COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is the third leading cause of death globally. And you can see lower respiratory infections in the respiratory path. Fifth one, we would not have guessed, neonatal conditions. Many neonatal deaths are happening across the world. And sixth, someone has mentioned as tumors. So that is there, trachea, bronchus, and lung cancers. These are the major cancers that are leading to mortality. And Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. Eighth one, you can see diarrheal disease. We feel like diarrhea has gone away from India, but it is not. As per the statistics, I'll show you just now. And ninth one, yeah, diabetes. And 10th one, you can see kidney diseases. So this is an information we have. Actually, I can say this is a data. So from this data, what is the information, knowledge, decision? What we can take out of this data is what informatics is all about. So you can see governments having plans. Like if the ischemic heart disease is a large number of ischemic heart disease in India, let's say, then they'll try to create more clinics towards cardiovascular complications. And even funding agencies, they want to know what are the thrust areas on which researchers would like to work. Okay, so when you say my thrust area is one of the leading cause of death globally or death in India, then definitely that will have a higher chances of getting through. Yeah, this one is very good information. Government of India has got a Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So this Ministry of Statistics has very good statistics about many departments. So you can see health and family welfare. They have published a statistical yearbook India. I'll just show you what it has. You can see number one, National Family Health Survey main findings. Number of cases and deaths due to diseases. So I very recently visited this website. So you can see they are giving it as an Excel sheet. So health and family welfare, number of cases and deaths due to diseases. In India, they number one, they are taking malaria. So one of the person has mentioned malaria also. It's very great. So malaria, how many cases? In 2000, 2001, you can see till 2015 they have. And how many deaths due to that? And Japanese encephalitis. I think some of you might remember a few months back, some kids or newborn babies succumbed to this encephalitis in, I think, in UP, many children. So that is also one of the leading cause of death. Acute diarrhea. See, third reason, acute diarrhea. There are many deaths, acute respiratory conditions, viral hepatitis, and the list goes on. So anyone interested in knowing this kind of information can visit this Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation and get data on healthcare. And there is a very good portal which is called National Health Portal, nhp.gov.in. Why I wanted to mention here is it has a specific page on health informatics. So that means health informatics is given such a beautiful weightage. So because it's an emerging field. So these words have been taken from this National Health Portal. So what this health informatics is? So how it defines how health information is captured, transmitted, and utilized. So that's the basic information the government gives to us. And it also says it is the science that underlies the fusion of healthcare, IT, business administration, these all together to give a patient very good health experience. This health experience all categories: clinical care, which is confined to hospitals, the nursing setup, pharmacy setup, and the public health. Public health is what we are all going through now under this COVID situation. So a couple of more definitions are also there. I will leave it to the participants. But there is one important thing you can see in the second definition. Health informatics deals with four major interdisciplinary components. Health informatics is an interdisciplinary field. What does it contain? It has all emerging technologies, epidemiology, it's what we are going through, health management, advanced statistics, and health systems. So systems can be an integration of many individual components, and you combine together and you call it as a health system. So for example, if we have an application which sends data to the cloud, and then in the cloud you perform an analytics, and recently we talk about edge analytics. So these kind of things are called the health systems. Yeah. Then we have this International Medical Informatics Association, which is a very premier body for promoting the principle of medical informatics. Now, why do we need to know about this? They have some special interest groups. So as I mentioned about in IEEE, how they have this technical committees, the Medical Informatics Association also have working groups. So the working groups are on biomedical pattern recognition, consumer health informatics, critical care informatics, data mining and big data analytics. Can you see one francophone? Francophone here deals with actually French speaking people. So if there are French speaking people, they have a special interest group that's called SAQ. So this working group, all this 24 working group gives us the thrust areas on which health informatics is being currently built across the world. So you can see again medical concept representation. So people when they are taking research work in the future, they can take under these kind of conditions. I remember one person in US, actually he was an Indian, he was very good active in social media, and he did his PhD in alarms. So in hospitals, especially in ICUs, alarms will go off, right? So these alarms will have a condition of, let's say, false alarms. So that person did a PhD on the false alarm identification and the concepts related to that. So again, you can see open source health informatics, primary healthcare informatics, security. Of course, security and privacy is great in demand now. So with the advent of the cyber security threats, so the security is very much needed nowadays. And you can see one standards in healthcare informatics. So I would like to brief you about one of the standard that is being developed under the IEEE. There is a work group called P1752, Open Mobile Health Work Group. I'm a part of that work group. So what we do, there are people who will be interested in creating mobile applications for health. So they want to create an IEEE standard. If there is a mobile application, there should be a standard way of creating that application. So you should know some terminologies which are common. Everyone cannot use the same kind of terminology. So that kind of things. So there was another working group or a sub working group which was called sleep. So I represented that group because my work area was actually sleep. So what we did, so people who are interested in creating, not interested, who are they know about the sleep diagnosis, and then they try to create some applications, and they try to create some standards. So if there is an app which says how many hours do you sleep, whether your sleep was refreshing or whether your sleep was not good, we call this as sleep hygiene. How do you go to sleep at the correct time and how do you wake up at the correct time? So that is called kind of sleep hygiene. So these kind of like-minded people come together in this work group and they try to create some standards. So such standards is exactly like terminologies. So we create, like, if there is a sleep onset, sleep latency, what should it, how should it be defined, what should be the unit of that. So these kind of things will be created as a standard. So we worked for around 2 years, and this team, this I'm saying about the sleep team, worked for around 2 years, and then now it has gone for a final validation. So after final validation, it will come out as an IEEE standard for mobile health applications in sleep. Good. I would like to introduce you to another association, which is called a Healthcare Information for All. So this was related to this Medical Informatics Association. See their motto. They say, together we can stop people dying due to lack of healthcare information. That is how they take it. So if the healthcare information is not available at the proper time to the required people, there may be people dying due that. Okay, so failure to access and apply healthcare information is the leading cause of death and suffering worldwide. And see, another interesting aspect is this is their front page. Okay, you can see in red letters what is written. In India, for example, 3 in 5 parents wrongly believe they should withhold fluids if their child develops diarrhea, thereby tragically increasing the risk of death from dehydration, contributing to hundreds of avoidable deaths every day in India alone. So, see, this is a worldwide group called Healthcare Information for All, but in their home page, they are quoting about India's condition. And that's why I said this diarrhea is not, it has not been eradicated, it is still there. Maybe we are not aware of that, but still there are many deaths that are happening to diarrhea that is found placed prominently in this web page. So what are the challenges in this management of healthcare information? First one is data centralized. Centralized means, is it coming through a proper channel, whether you have certain standards. Do we know whether the data is actually existing? That is it existing in its raw form or it has been converted into another form? Is there a common language for handling all the data, or people sharing their knowledge? That's one great question, because people, different vendors will be there, there may be having different standards. So how do they share their knowledge? Because it may be their proprietary format, they don't want to share this. So these are the challenges into healthcare information. So let's quickly see what this healthcare data is. There are basically these 4 kinds of healthcare data. One is metric, categorical, structured, and unstructured. So now we need applications which can handle all these 4 kinds of data. It could be numeric data like metric. It can be categorical, so nominal and ordinal. People who are used to this informatics might be knowing these terms, what is nominal and what is ordinal. So structured reports, like we have electronic health records where specific fields are there. And for example, if there is a lab observation, let's say for a blood sample analysis, we have like RBCs this much, WBCs this much. So these kind of lab observations are structured. So unstructured means it can be some discharge summary where the doctors will be writing some kind of summaries which need not be fitting into a structured category, which can be unstructured. And reports also, for example, if they are physically examining the patients, they will be writing some notes on their physical examination. So these kind of things also come under the category of unstructured reports. So where do this all data come from? So primary source of health data is from the electronic health records, and we have medical images, sensor signals, genomic data. There is a concept called personalized medicine, which is coming in a great way, where based on the genomic data, a person's medicines or treatment can be personalized. It need not be the same medicine that is prescribed for another person, need not be the same dosage also. It can be varied according to the person's genomic signature. And there can be clinical text, biomedical literature, and of course, social media. There are different standards in defining the data. I'll just go through some of the prominent standards very quickly. So the most important standard is the International Classification of Diseases, ICD, which is done by WHO. So the diseases are given specific codes. So if in a hospital, I have a hospital information system, that will have a field in which I can enter the ICD code. So you can see here ICD 10 version is the latest version.
Good evening, friends.
So A00 to
Good evening, colleagues.
A09.
It's my pleasure for me.
Infectious.
It's pleasure for me.
Okay. So there are certain codes for the ICDs. So using this, the reporting of the diseases will be made uniformly across the world similar. For example, in tuberculosis, if you see A15 to A19, there are around 4 categories of tuberculosis, and A15 will have something like A15.1, A15.2. They'll specifically categorize each and everything so that when an electronic health record is made portable, you take it to another hospital, seeing the ICD code itself, other people can know what type of tuberculosis was that. The next one is SNOMED CT. So SNOMED CT is used for representing certain clinical terms. It's similar to ICD, but not exactly ICD. So SNOMED CT, I can show you an example. Like if there is a cellulitis of hand, some cellulitis condition, the cellulitis of hand, cellulitis of foot, all this come under the category cellulitis. So there is a code for cellulitis, and there are subcodes for cellulitis of hand or cellulitis of foot. For example, if there is a disorder of foot, the cellulitis of foot can also come under disorder of foot. So it is kind of a terminology where a tree kind of a structure will be given. So you have the tree's primary branch being disorder of foot. And then under that, it can have either it can be the ulcer of foot or it can be cellulitis of foot. So things are represented in a logical way. In ICD, it's a fixed way. You don't have you have a name, you have a code, that's it. But in this kind of a SNOMED CT, you have a relationship. So this kind of relationship will be represented through numbers. Yeah, the third standard is LOINC, LOINC. So this is specifically used for laboratory reporting. So you can see what is the component. For example, if a blood test has been given, and what is the analyte, or what are you going to find out? I want to estimate the number of leukocytes. What is the concentration? What is the time? For example, if you measured it after 5 minutes or 5 seconds kind of time. What was the specimen? Whether it was from the blood or it was from the cerebrospinal fluid. What was the scale? What was the method used? All this will be represented with a single number 806-0. You can see a small number here shown 806-0. So that will give all this detail. So one code, exhaustive data. So that's a standard way of representing. Yeah, another standard which is emerging now is the fast healthcare interoperability resources, FHIR. It's called FHIR. So actually people would have heard about HL7, which is called Health Level 7. This HL7 talks about interoperability. When we talk about health informatics, interoperability is primary. So how do you make systems interoperable? So HL7 was one standard which made all the data to be converted into a format which can be understood by many systems. Now, this FHIR or Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources is a next level of HL7, which has made the interoperability and the communication between resources very fast. So you can see here what it does. Actually, what it is it has a certain logical way of representing the information and flow of data. For example, if there is an allergy that has to be represented, what kind of allergy reaction is that? Okay, so that is a mapping. What kind of allergy reaction? What kind of adverse reaction? What was the substance that was involved in the allergy? Who was the patient, practitioner? How did you know the allergy happened? So this will be there in specific heads. So these heads will together go as a data. So when these fields are fixed and it has a standardized format, everyone can understand without any ambiguity on the data that is being reported. So those were an overview of the standards and terminologies that are used in the field of healthcare informatics. Coming back to the contemporary healthcare, so what is happening now in this COVID-19 situation? There was a very good article by McKinsey. McKinsey is a consultation firm, and they had this conversation taking place between two experts. So these two experts' conversation are given in points. So after this COVID-19 situation, 70 to 80% of primary care consultations have went online. So this is across the world or is carried through phone. Okay, and the best part is physicians, as we know, they will not be willing to take through online examinations. They'll be kind of averse to technologies. So they think that now they are saving lots of time by taking these kind of online consultations. So even after post-COVID-19, in the post-COVID-19 situations, they want to stick with these kind of online consultations. Now the question is there a flexibility in the workforce? That means if there are some established protocols for becoming a ICU nurse, so, for example, if there is an emergency and a ward nurse, can they immediately relocate to ICU and take on the roles of ICU nurse? So they need to be some protocols. How do you allow a person from a ward to an ICU? Okay. So and if such an emergency occurs, like you would have read in many newspapers, like many institutions were converted into corona wards or corona centers, like even IIT, which is in the news recently. So that IIT hostels were actually used earlier for isolation of corona patients. So when we want to convert such kind of building into some critical care areas or isolation areas, how fastly we can do? So what is the infrastructure changes that have to be done? So these are all the questions that are asked in this kind of a post-COVID situation where the health informatics solutions are needed. So this wartime, they call it as wartime, this has to be converted into peacetime. And they say these are the 6 trends that can shape a post-COVID-19 healthcare. Lots of reforms, health for all, exponential improvement. You see technologies, even these online classes, teachers were immediately, they were ready to jump into taking these online classes, and immediately like everyone were virtual teachers. So improvement was, we didn't think of that, but improvement just happened like that. And the big squeeze is about the considerations for money. That financially there are many challenges in taking the healthcare. Fragmented, integrated, consolidated care delivery. Fragmented in the sense you go for only one problem to a person or to a physician, and then it's called a fragmented. Integrated is like a total setup. Okay, so you go to a clinical system from beginning to the end, and then consolidated is taking care of the person in the entirety. So we saw all these kinds of care delivered. Fragmented was there, integrated was there, consolidated care delivery was there. And now we talk about next generation managed care. So how people can manage themselves in the next generation medicine. Okay, this is one interesting aspect of World Health Organization. I think most of you would have seen this. WHO will give information on this COVID-19 situations, which country had many number of fatalities and all. So they had this situation dashboard. So dashboard is one of the interesting application of health informatics, where you can lively see the situations. So that dashboard is there. So I thought of showing the dashboard. Okay, it's already 3 o'clock. So let's skip that part. You can go to who.int and you can see the dashboard on the front page itself, and which says very good graphics about the situation that is taking place. Similarly, we have a sustainable development goal dashboard for India. So you can see this nice wheel with all these colors. So this 1, 2, 3, 4 represents the various targets or the goals that are given by the sustainable development authorities in India. And you can see I have highlighted actually this 3 here. So what is this 3? 3 is written down. Ensuring healthy lives and promoting the well-being for all at all ages is essential to sustainable development. Now for achieving this 3, what are the targets? That is written as 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 and all. So see, by 2030, reduce the global maternal mortality rate to less than this. So this is the target. Like we had the data from that we converted into actions. Like we have the dashboard is here. From the dashboard, what are the targets or the plans that can be taken for achieving that dashboard analytics. So the data analytics approach is a very preferred method in health informatics. I think I will skip these because it may take another 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, of course, this will need another actual session on analytics itself. So I'll go to the another topic, which is sleep analysis. I'll give you the research trends that are happening currently in the area of sleep analysis. Now, the interesting factor about sleep is almost 1/3 of human life is spent in sleep. That we all agree. And yeah, so and sleep is associated with what? How do we define sleep? One is there is a large relaxed state of muscular activity. So your muscles are relaxed, and that may be an indicator of the sleep. And reduced perception of environmental stimuli. So we'll have noticed when the lights are on, we'll take some time to go to sleep. But once we sleep, we don't worry whether the light is on or not. Most of the people. So the environmental stimuli will not disturb our sleep. So this kind of a muscle relaxation and environmental stimuli will be used to understand whether the person is sleeping or not. And of course, sleep has no substitute, we all know. So you have to catch up on your sleep. And there are two cyclical stages in sleep. One is called REM, another one is called non-REM, rapid eye movement, that is called REM. So people actually like when we are in REM sleep, the eyeballs will be rotating here and there. So that is due to the loss of muscle activity, because our eyeballs will also be held together by the muscles. So when the muscles are relaxed, the eyeballs also will not be pulled together or pulled apart. Okay, so the eyeballs will be free to move here and there. So that is what we call as this rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep. So that is supposed to be the deepest part of sleep. So the sleep is something that is not an let's say like a DC wave, straight away sleeping. Actually, it goes through many cycles. You can see there are 4 sleep stages in non-REM, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when a person starts falling asleep, they gradually go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then around maybe 2 hours later. So a person goes to sleep at 10. At around say 11:30 or so, they enter this REM sleep, and it will be there for around say 30 minutes, and then again after around 12 o'clock, they will again come back to non-REM sleep. But the theory behind why the non-REM and REM is alternating is still a puzzle to researchers. Why do our sleep why does it not continue into REM? Instead, it comes to non-REM. After some time, again goes to REM. But actually, you can notice as time moves on, the fraction of REM sleep keeps on increasing when compared with the non-REM sleep. So this red color bars, the thickness of the red color bar is increasing. So you can see around 4 a.m. is the deepest and longest deep sleep, REM sleep. Okay, and 6 a.m. gradually they waking up. So this is a typical cycle of sleep in a human being that is widely agreed with throughout the world. Now, when this will sleep disorder occur? So as I said, the REM sleep is the most important part. Whenever this REM sleep gets disturbed, that is when the consequences of the sleep disorder will come into fore. So the interruption in REM affects the quality of sleep. And the statistics say nearly 45% of world's population have some kind of sleep deprivation, and some of them will have it as in the form of sleep disorder. For example, if you are deprived of sleep for 1 or 2 days, then actually you can catch it up. They'll say like in 1 week, if you don't sleep well in Monday and Tuesday, and you can make it out by sleeping more in say Thursdays and Fridays. But when it becomes chronicle, like it is there for a long time, then it becomes a sleep disorder. It doesn't become a sleep deprivation. There are 4 kinds of sleep disorders that are widely seen. One is called insomnia, second one is sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, and narcolepsy. We'll quickly see what is happening in all these 4 categories. So insomnia is generally, if the person is having difficulty in falling asleep or difficulty in maintaining sleep, they awaken early, disturbed sleep, all these kinds of conditions are called insomnia. But this should be there for at least continuously more than 2 weeks. If it is there for 1 or 2 days, we cannot call it as insomnia. That is only called sleep deprivation. So if it is there for more than 2 weeks continuously, then that kind of a condition can be called as insomnia. Now people have started digital intervention for insomnia. So this is a very recent research trend that is happening. One is called cognitive behavioral therapy. So cognitive behavioral therapy is kind of you interfere with their thoughts. You make them think in some way that you want, and then you try to come over this insomnia. So actually there was a virtual therapist, and this virtual therapist will be trying to handle the thoughts of the person. So if the sleep is not good, they will have some negative emotions. Like in this cycle you can see here, negative emotions will be like, oh, I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm not able to sleep at all. These kind of negative emotions will create negative behavior. So we will be like, oh god, it's time again to sleep, I'm not able to get sleep. This kind of violent behavior can be there, negative behavior that again leads to negative thoughts like, I will not be able to sleep today also. So this kind of thing will also give to negative emotions. So this is called the vicious cycle of poor sleep. So by using this kind of cognitive techniques and having a virtual therapy assistant, people have been able to improve the sleep. The next condition is obstructive sleep apnea. So this occurs in people who are normally obese. Okay, obese means you can see people who are having lots of tissues near the neck. So when they are sleeping, these tissues will try to create some kind of a weight, okay, kind of a weight bearing effect on the trachea, and this will stop the flow of normal air when they are sleeping. So this stop of airflow will create loss of oxygen, which is called hypoxia. So when this hypoxia increases, the brain will be given a signal that the oxygen level is less. So the brain will immediately alert the person, and the person will immediately wake up. They'll find out that, okay, there is some disturbance. They'll again try to take a deep breath. Once they take a deep breath, the oxygen levels will be managed. They'll go into sleep. After some time, again, the same cycle will occur. So it's a cycle. So it's a cycle that kills. So what are they doing now in the research trend? They are trying to find out cardiovascular features. You can see this is a very recent paper that was published in Nature 2019. So estimation of apnea, hypopnea. Apnea, hypopnea is the indices of which tell how good the condition is. So you have to find out that index to find out whether the obstructive sleep apnea was mild or severe or low. Okay, the severity is low or mild or severe. So cardiovascular features are being taken from the population. So I can see many features: arousal probability, heart rate variability. Yeah, that's heart rate variability is a very good estimator of cardiovascular features. So these are the features that are taken from a sleep study, and then these features are used to find out whether that OSA is being occurring or not. Another very recent research trend that is happening is using some bed sensors. So I can see here a new approach for detecting sleep apnea using a contactless bed sensor. So you can see the picture. They have a fiber optic cable that is placed beneath the bed, and then when the person is kind of topping and turning inside the bed, they are not getting enough sleep. There may be changes in the body position that will be measured using this fiber optic sensor, and that will give an estimation about the sleep states. The third one is called the restless leg syndrome or Willis-Egg-bone disease. So people will have an urge to move their leg during the sleep. Only when they move their leg, they will be able to sleep. Otherwise, they will not be able to sleep. They will wake up. So this is called a restless leg syndrome, and this is more a neural disorder. Like obstructive sleep apnea is a localized disorder, whereas an insomnia is kind of a general. It's not like caused by anything. It can be a general kind of category. Whereas this restless leg syndrome is normally associated with the brain signals that are coming from the nervous system. So people are using MRI. So you can see researchers are using advanced magnetic resonance imaging to measure the brain changes. So when they have an urge to move their leg, what is happening in the brain? So those things are being analyzed by the researchers. The fourth one is narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is different from all this. Here, the narcolepsy affected person will sleep without their knowing itself. So I think one or two Tamil films have also come based on this narcoleptic condition, where the person will not be able to contain their sleep. They will immediately go to sleep. So what happens there is, instead of going to non-REM sleep, they will immediately go to REM sleep. Okay, so that is also a neurological disorder. So this narcolepsy will be diagnosed primarily using a polysomnogram, that is called a PSG. So let's see a quick look on what this polysomnography is. Poly is multiple, right? Somno is sleep. So multiple sleep recorders. So typically this kind of polysomnography will have around 20 to 25 electrodes that are connected to the patient's body, because you will have to take the brain activity, you have to take the cardiovascular activity, you have to take the limb movements, the breathing pattern, all these things. Even the EMG, the facial muscles, the EMG will also be taken. So you can see this is a very simple picture that I have used. Actually, if I show the picture of a person having so many electrodes over their body, it will appear very wild. So you can see electrodes are monitoring brain activity here, airflow is monitored, there is a microphone for recording the snoring of the person, breathing, monitor movements. So polysomnographics nowadays, there are wireless polysomnography also. Actually, our department, we got a project for developing a wireless polysomnography. A grant was received. So not me, I was involved in the initial literature survey regarding this polysomnography equipment. So that was how I was interested to this field of sleep study, and I started my research work in the field of obstructive sleep apnea. But this wireless polysomnography was a great challenge. How do you create a system which can wirelessly monitor all these things? So even thermal recorders were used to monitor the body temperature, the movements of the body. So that was a very interesting study. So these these are the trends that are happening in the field of sleep research. Thank you, people. Thank you for your attention. So that's the end of my presentation. I'm very happy to have shared whatever I have learned from my experiences and my research. I once again thank PSNA College of Engineering and Technology for having given this opportunity. Hello.
Good evening, colleagues. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll take it, sir. Good evening, colleagues. So myself, Pradeep, Assistant Professor, Biomedical Engineering Department of PSNA CET. So it is indeed a great honor for me personally to deliver a vote of thanks for this last session of Sttp Series 1. So this session was personally connected to me since I'm first batch student of Bonoricam. So we had a great experience during your lectures, laboratories. So we usually don't skip your class. And so during today's session, there was a lot of nostalgic memories to me since. So we usually stimulate the students to learn. So the different teaching learning environment was there in during our college times. So since 13 years, ma'am, you have not yet changed your approach.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradeep.
I see the on behalf of BME Department PSNA CET, I thank Dr. B. Bonoreka, ma'am, Associate Professor PhD Tech, on your online presence today on being ill. And so the session was very different today. We came to know that different out-of-box approaches like about IEEE chapters and other things. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence. Thank you, ma'am. Like all the participants, thank you, ma'am. All the participants' video recordings of each sessions will be available in our YouTube channel named PSNA CET. So take the links there, and tomorrow there will be an assessment for all the participants. So the certificates will be issued upon your completion of test. So the timings and the links for the assessment will be communicated through WhatsApp and a mail. So all the participants are requested to take up the assessment test by tomorrow. So the timings will be communicated to you very shortly. So thank you all for your participation for the 5 days of Series 1 Sttp. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, Sriram, sir. So we'll wind up, sir. So the feedback links are available. Within 30 minutes, kindly fill the feedback form and resend to the mail. Thank you.
Thank you, dear
Pradeep, sir, can I leave now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Please,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, we also may leave, ma'am. Sundara, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
Thank you.
having a little bit of work. I'll carry out that and you all can leave now, sir.